I'm going to do something real quick. Okay. So I'm going to tell you guys right now, we're actually recording. Just FYI.
Can you aren't.
We are totally recording right now. Everybody straightens up. Skylar, I can't see you at all. Because this is going on to YouTube, we're going to show the behind the scenes of our knucklehead asses talking. So,
how long were you recording?
Just now.
Oh.
So the winner giveaway, we missed that. We'll have to cover that. Skylar, I can't see you, dude.
Working on it.
Hold on, working on it. Can you see me? There you go. Dude, checked out my backdrop. See, that's way better than my cork board. No, I can't hear you.
Hold on.
I can hear you now.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
I can hear you now.
Okay. I had to get rid of the headphones. For some reason, they're not working. So
Yeah, I agree. Now you bastards can't laugh at my backdrop.
I can't.
I mean, you can. It would
There
just
we
be
go.
wrong.
Now we're set.
Did you save it or did you
Way too long.
where it belongs?
Oh, I totally saved my cork board. It's like behind. It's
Oh my
it's stuck
God.
behind something. Oh yeah,
That
pretty-
is an
I don't even
upgrade.
want to get. I don't.
Is that
I
the
don't even want to
same
get into how
cork
long that. No, it's not the same cork board.
He painted it.
I painted
board?
it. I don't even want to get into how long it took me to hang that up because everybody, Skylar, you know how handy man I am.
Yeah.
It looks crooked though, doesn't it?
I'm
That's the
surprised
angle.
you
That's
know.
the angle. Nope, it is. I went and bought a level and everything. It is like perfectly level according to the level I bought.
Sponsored by Dunkin' Donuts. We are.
I'm straight up vodka. It's been a day. No, I'm just
Hey.
kidding. It's water.
Yeah. Tell us what you just won.
Oh, I was just checking Instagram and I won the fucking nuts giveaway.
You won the what now?
The fucking nuts giveaway.
Oh, isn't that Easton Nuts now?
Yeah, they haven't changed it.
They haven't
on-
changed it. They haven't
haven't-
changed it.
They haven't
I hope
changed
they
it on
don't.
social.
I hope they don't.
I know. I like the name.
Yeah.
I won, so
Well, like we were
That's
talking
pretty
earlier, you can't have peanut butter, so you can send it to Iowa.
Yeah.
I mean, I can have a tablespoon or two.
I can have a tablespoon or two. Do you really think you're gonna stop at 2
No,
or 1? No.
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 What is it? The cookie dough. Cookie dough ones. That's pretty
Cookie.
good.
Yep, it's cookie dough and the monster cookie.
Yes, it's good. Yep.
I have to ration.
Yeah, I think you should send it to me because we want you to do your best.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Sharing is caring.
Yeah.
Public service announcement.
Is there a
So
way you can get that in 2 small servings instead of just one?
I'll put that in my DM to them.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
good. So yeah, we are recording, so people can watch us. This is what it looks like to be on our podcast, by the way. Our previous podcast, everybody gave me shit because my backdrop was some cork board that had, I don't know. I don't know where it came from. It was up there before I bought the place, and there was just a bunch of shit on there. So
There was
And
nothing on there, Joe.
in apparent, well, nah, there really wasn't. There was a
There
couple
was
hanging.
four notes, and he threw those in the trash.
There were a couple
supposedly.
notes. I don't know what the hell they were. There were some keys. I don't know what they go to. But so yeah, I got that going for me. So someday I'll figure out what the keys go to. But
You really should have left that up there next to it. I think that would have.
left it up there next to it. Well, apparently it was too distracting for you guys. So you just couldn't help but look at my organizational skills behind me.
Yeah, it does look better. It does look better. I'll give
It
you
does
that.
look better. How about my lighting? Is that pretty cool?
It could be better. I mean,
You have-
Skylar's definitely kicks my lighting's ass, but I'll get there.
Yeah, mine's some portable thing I found, but whatever.
Is yours
So
yours on back order?
it's on back order. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and hit record. So everybody on the podcast that are listening to the podcast will not get to hear or listen to this talk other than people watching it on YouTube. So, because I'm going to edit this out when we get going. So, but yeah, we're going to jump in, and then we've got a bunch of questions. I think Skylar, I think we should start with some of your youth stuff that we're talking about. And then Ashely will go with some of yours, and then I'll pick one of mine and we'll just kind of hash them out a little bit. So we will get started. So we are back. It is time to wake up and defeat your inner enemies with your own sword. Guys, this is what this podcast is for, is to give you the tools to defeat those enemies. Woke Warriors, Joe, Skylar, and Ashely are just the three of us tonight. We got, we're going to do a little chit chat back and forth, open up some open discussion tonight. And I will go ahead and say this. This is solely the opinions of the speakers and should not be held up in anything in a court of law based on fact. This is some kind of disclaimer on opinion only. This is not to be shared or distributed to the public. Whatever type of stuff we can get in there, because we all know I'm the expert in most things.
I don't know shit.
So, but no, and again, I want to cover this episode by saying this. I mean, every question that we have been thrown out, like Skylar and I were talking earlier, if anybody ever, other than like a yes or no question, like, is this left or right? Most things, the answer is, it depends. I mean, for the most part, there is no definitive answer because we are very, very different. A lot of people have different goals. There's a lot of things. So I will cover this. Most questions are, it depends. We also have three people here, and there's a lot of things we might disagree with on. Probably a good chance, but at the same time, it depends. A lot of things are also anecdotal, meaning what it works for me might not work for somebody else. Now, there are some things I'll say up front that I am not open to. I'm a very open person, but there are some things I'm very not open to, like gravity. Gravity works 100% of the time. It doesn't lean to the left on Tuesday. If you jump off a building, your ass is going to fall straight down every time, 24/7. I'm not open-minded to that stuff, but everything else kind of goes from there. So anybody needs some disclaimers to say up front?
No.
Do any of you guys disagree that gravity works 100% of the time?
No, definitely.
Okay. Perfect.
But
Perfect.
I do have to say that we need a intro song. I think that's something we all need to think about.
I could sing.
Joe's a great singer.
I'm gonna go ahead and say no.
Yeah, we would lose a lot of listeners. We need listeners, but no, I think there was one topic that kind of came up, and it really kind of really brought us to not having a guest this week, where we just kind of wanted to cover some things, which I think we're going to do more, because we have a lot of topics here and a lot of questions that have been brought in that we're just not going to get to either. Skylar, jump in. I know you had a lot of it, and plus it's kind of near and dear to your heart and your background.
Yeah, exactly. So the preventative to athletes, young age injuries. I mean, I've been hearing more and more. I know Ashely has is it a daughter that has an injury as I'm speaking now, correct?
Yeah, she had an ACL and MCL tear a year ago, just last week. So she's fully recovered, but yeah, she's back to lifting and all that fun stuff.
Was that due to lifting or due to a sport?
Sport during a basketball game.
Okay. I mean, I kind of got into this, I think, when Brian was on a little bit with Titan. That's something that I taught a lot at Ellsworth when I was there helping with strength conditioning, was a lot of things that we could do to prevent injury more than, and that was mostly at the beginning, like when people were like, oh, let's go in there and throw on a bunch of weight and try doing a power clean that I don't know how to do, and that a coach never taught me the right way to do, and first steps first. I mean, I think me and Joe talked about this. Joe and I talked about this earlier. Was I think the biggest thing that we see in I guess it's PE. Everybody learns your first lift in PE. That's how I learned from when I was in high school, was in PE class, and then you either like it and then you show up in the morning to go lifting. I mean, that's kind of how I started off. But I think a lot of it starts off with core development and learning the proper techniques to getting a strong foundation before you start doing these heavy movements. And that's kind of, I mean, I'm huge on that. I think that they need to get away from, hey, let's have a strict or a structured workout when we walk in the first day for these kids. I don't think that that's correct. I think you need to start with the core before you even hit the legs. I think you need to have a strong core section, which means your back and your abdominals, and then you work your way down and then up. If you don't do that, if you do the opposite, you see all these kids with knee injuries from squatting the wrong way. And that could have been very well what happened to your daughter. Is she was maybe performing a lift the wrong way for a long period of time, and it developed an impingement in her leg or her hip that threw her legs off, and then that's what could have done it. I mean, I'm not an expert, but I'm just saying that's kind of where this stuff comes from, is overdevelopment in muscles that we're not training correctly. Anything?
I would agree with that. I mean, just she doesn't obviously lift with me because I'm lifting, when she's fast asleep, but there has been moments that she's come to the gym with me, and just simple things to me, she's doing incorrect. So, I mean, I could definitely see where that can be an issue, especially when, she's coming home and saying that they're doing maxed out workouts. I personally don't believe that adolescents should be doing maxed out workouts where you're just, doing your 1 rep and loading it up. I mean, I just think that's really hard on growing joints.
Well, like if you look at most power lifters, powerlifting is one of the stronger sides of things. The best ones do not max out every week. They barely do it every month. They're spending their time doing ancillary type things to get their, all the secondary muscles that aid. And just like what Skylar was saying, they're not maxing out all the time. And I see that all the time, at my gym. I get a lot of, I've done some youth lifting classes, like with 8 and 10-year-olds, because you'll have those parents say, well, I don't want them lifting weights. It'll stunt their growth. Well, tell that to all the big ass linemen who've been out farming, lifting freaking heavy ass rocks and shit that are 300 pounds on the Nebraska and Iowa line. Yeah. Tell them lifting stunted their fucking growth. Yep. Sorry, sorry for the rant on that, but it's like, lifting weights is a blanket statement. Are you lifting, for 20 reps? Are you, or are you lifting, no, don't put, the max weight on your 10-year-old son or daughter's back and say, squat it, son. That is stupid. That is, guys, if you're doing that, that is stupid. And, from 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, they could be doing what Skylar's talking about, building up their strength, putting their ego away. So by the time they're sophomore, junior, senior, now they can go out and really lift some weight. And here's the thing, guys, and this is, fuck it. I don't care about it. I don't care about stepping on toes. Most strength coaches, again, are screwing this up. You don't need to be doing legs every day. That is stupid. That's not how, it doesn't work that way. And there's football, wrestling, all these things. Yes, they are power sports. I get it, but they're endurance sports.
And
that's why how many times can you bench 225, right?
Yep.
That's not how much do you bench, it's how many times can you bench this. Yeah, you knock somebody out play number 1. Yeah, but what about play number 67? Now your ass is gassed. It is an endurance sport.
Yep, and that's the best point of all of it right there, is if you look at any of these combines, they're not asking you to do something once.
Right.
Or any sport really. I mean, you can't just say football, it's anything. Some of the strong men competitions, just because you look at some of their stuff, they're throwing, it's 700 pounds, but they did it 10 times.
Yep,
it's not, hey, let's load it up to and see how much Thor or Mountain Thor can do one time, you know, maybe they do that, but it's like very rare. It's not an everyday occurrence. You know, kind of what sparked this, Joe, was, you know, when we kind of what I talked to you about today was where me and Joe are actually going to go down to Lacona or Southeast Warren, back to my high school, back to the roots, and go and talk to a bunch of kids about lifting and how important it is to get into more than one sport. Because a lot of the kids these days, I grew up in a small school. I'm talking 46 people were in my graduating class. So that being said, I played 4 sports. I was a 4-sport athlete. And I think that's very important, even if you are a badass baseball player or a badass football player anymore. If you look at, you know, college recruiting, they don't look at, are you in just one sport? Are you just a football player? No, they want to see a wide variety of what you're doing. Okay.
Especially track.
Yeah. Can he run? I mean, is he in shape? You know, well, track plays a role in that. Okay. Can he catch anything other than a damn football? Does he have good hands other than just playing this sport? I mean, your hand-eye coordination comes with football, basketball, catching a baseball. So, I mean, that was another topic that kind of came up with the coach, my high school coach, actually, that's having us come down and talk about this stuff. And he asked me, his first question was, what do you think about a track women's coach teaching 7th graders how to do power cleans from the floor? I said, absolutely not. I said, oh my God, I cannot believe that just came out of your mouth. He goes, thank you. That's what I think also. So I'm not blaming my coach. I'm saying that there are people that are coming into these schools that are and this girl, whoever it is a CrossFit instructor, and she came down and now she's coaching track down there. And just because she's in CrossFit, now she's teaching all these movements to 7th and 8th graders. I'm like, teach them how to, I don't know. I mean, and I said, what I would be doing with those kids is if the worst thing you could do is start them off with a dang power clean. I mean, come on. You're going to.
Yeah, that would not be incredibly high on my list of things to do.
No, teach them proper squat form without a bar. Teach them lunges so they don't go over their toe. You know, don't put your knee over your toe. Stuff, just the little things on the list, and then, you know, work your way up the higher they get up. And it should be tiered like that. This is what you're able to do at 7th grade. This is what you're able to do at 8th grade. And then it goes to, now you're a junior or a sophomore. Let's learn these power movements, because if you're going to be a college football player or a college basketball player, you need to be explosive.
Yep.
But working explosive muscle before muscles developed is worthless, I think.
Now, Skylar,
it's just like any other class, like math class. You're going over the basics before you're going into these complex, you know, problems. So why isn't PE and your weight training classes the same way? And I guess we can't say that all of them are, because I'm sure there are amazing weightlifting programs in high schools around here. But you know, that's just what they need to do is, and we talked about this before, like their first 2 weeks of that class or semester should be just basic going over form and core engagement and how to decrease injuries. And, you know, at that age, you know, progressive overload is probably not their main target. You're going to want to look at more metabolic things and muscle conditioning and things like that. That'll help with their agility and their movement.
Yep.
Your audio's kind of going in and out, FYI.
Yeah, I was just going to say that.
Just a tad.
Another thing is why not teach deceleration movements before acceleration movements? I mean, explain that. Okay. So, let's say this. Have you ever watched the Olympics, the runners? I'm sure you have. Usain Bolt, okay? Does he stop immediately after a 200, or does he run a 300? Does he stride out that last 100? Okay, that is important. These guys that are great runners, or you see these guys in warm-ups during these, they're working, breaking their hips down, learning how to decelerate the movement. I mean, if you're moving at whatever, the fastest you can move, and then all of a sudden you just decide to stop, well, your knees aren't ready for that. again, your AC, that's how an AC tear comes, or ACL tear, or a full blown out knee can happen, is because those ligaments aren't trained to just stop. They are trained to slowly slow down. You have to train them that way. Then they're able to do that. But these pro athletes they can stop on a dime because they've been doing this stuff for years. So then these other athletes just all of a sudden think that's what they should be doing. And then the coaches don't teach them how to either stride out the last 100 yards after you are at full speed,
right,
or break down your hips, in a longer period. Like if you're coming into to make a tackle on a kickoff return, like on someone that's returning a punt, you're not just going to stop. I mean, you're going to slow your hips down and then hit the person, or get your body underneath you. I think that's huge, man. I think that's where all these coaches are failing right now. Is you see these 5-star recruits going down with knee injuries and ankle injuries, high sprains, stuff like that. It's because it's an impact on the muscle, not the muscle, but the tendons.
And it can be career ending. All that time and energy done.
Yep. And it's sad because that's usually the case,
Yeah.
And if you're told as an 18-year-old that your career's over, I mean, and you've worked for 10 years or whatever
it's
it is
life.
At this, that's your life. And that can really mess a kid up, So.
And that's what I'll say too. Especially if these things, like if we have listeners and you guys are listening and you really want some more information on this, because again, each topic that we have could literally be an entire podcast, guys. And, so, I mean, we're going to obviously start moving on, but that's kind of the thing, like, especially parents of kids, obviously that's what we have. If you have questions like that, don't be afraid to ask them. I mean, it's kind of one of those, like, some people get intimidated by some of the strength coaches. Well, they know what I mean, if you have questions and something doesn't sound right, bring it up. I mean, these are your kids, because again, just like Skylar was saying, all of a sudden here's a career ending injury at 18 because they're not doing what they're supposed to do. And I'll tell you this, I hear it all the time. And I'm sure Skylar, you do, Ashely, I'm sure you do. I hear it all the time. I hear some of the stupidest shit getting trained or being trained to our youth right now. I'm saying mind-blowing, stupid shit.
Yeah. It's because
more than likely 80% are doing it incorrectly.
Yep. And, I kind of want to know how many of these coaches have actually been to a strength and conditioning seminar themselves to learn.
Right.
I feel like there's just, you go through school, you pass your test, and then you go to a school, and then now you're a coach, or you're a PE teacher, or whatever. I mean, whatever you may be, but you go through the motions, and you don't really you don't invest your time in this, because screw it, I'm making freaking $35,000, $40,000 a year. I can't afford to go take this class, because I mean, let's be real. It's just, it sucks, because I think that these schools that don't have the funding, it's not because they don't want to be educated in what they're doing. It's because they can't be, because they can't pay for it and the school can't pay for it. So, and that's kind of where me and Joe talked about doing some nonprofit, stuff too. And I think I'm excited for that. So
that'll be cool.
So, Ashely, I know you had some really good ones. Actually, the ones you sent me, I'm going to let you cover them, but I do want to cover them for sure. Actually, I think every one of them was good.
Yeah, I had some good ones coming. Can you guys hear me a little bit better?
Yep, absolutely.
Okay. The first one that I had was about craving suggestions. Scal had messaged me and said that she's working kind of a crazy schedule. She's a nurse, so she's going back and forth from days to nights, and does really good with her meals, and then once she gets to the end of her shifts, she can't get over those cravings, and she just wanted some suggestions on how to beat that. And
who wants to take this first?
I could tell you a little bit about what I've done with some athletes of mine and just everyday clients. If you give them I mean, it may sound crazy to you too, but this is kind of what I've done. So I give them, let's say they're just going crazy. These are people that are really struggling with their diets and they cannot quit thinking about food. If you give them something to satisfy that once a day, just something stupid little that'll keep their mind off it for the next 24 hours.
Yeah.
I don't think that's harmful, and I think it works. I had a client that actually did, Angela did that show, and she did very well in it. But what she would always do is she had these little, I can't remember what the heck they're called, but it's like a chocolate that she like always looked forward to every day, you know. And she opened my eyes on this because I was that hard ass coach. She was like, no, 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 no. And then she's like, well, I've been doing it. And I'm like, well, shit, you look good. So, I mean, it's not hurting anything. And if it's keeping you from eating the cheeseburger and the pizza, then,
Yeah.
you know, have at it. Have one little friggin' chocolate or whatever that keeps your mind off of it for the next 24 hours. And it just resets you every day.
I agree. Ashely?
I mean, with cravings, I mean, there's so many just levels and situations why you would be having cravings. And I think hers was more that sleep deprivation. And honestly, I think sleep is probably the most important thing to keep in check. I mean, you're having these hormones release when you're sleep deprived, and they fight each other, and that's why you're having those cravings. And so, I mean, honestly, my suggestion is to her is just to be way more intentional about your sleep.
Yeah, sleep is big.
Yeah, I mean, I remember how I used to think that I was such a bad, living off of 4 hours of sleep. Well, your body can only take that for so long, and you're fighting yourself. So I think in her situation, it's complete hormone, releases with her lack of sleep, and she's gonna have to be more intentional about sleep and I mean, just her situation.
You started cutting out a little bit again.
It might be better without the headphones. Try to pull those out.
It might be. Here's my absolute Joe Laxton science geek shit. You all ready? So Ashely talked about hormones. Guys, every thought, every feeling that we have is hormone based. If you're pissed off, that's a hormone. If you're tired, that's a hormone. If you're happy, that's a hormone. If you are hungry, that is a hormone. If you feel full, that is a hormone. You have two hormones called ghrelin and leptin. Ghrelin is produced in the hypothalamus. No, we ain't going to dive into that shit, but it is produced in the hypothalamus.
When you're hungry.
I can't spell it, but it's in your head. So ghrelin is produced when your body is hungry. Leptin is produced when you feel full. So what will happen is there's certain things that, again, anecdotal, we all are different. We have to figure out what makes us hungry. For the most part, sweets, more carbs. Sometimes carbs can suppress leptin. Personally, I go to a local Mexican restaurant. I can eat 3 baskets of chips, then I can eat dinner. Yeah, right. But if La Casa, by the way, greatest place.
Also sponsored by La Casa.
Also sponsored by La Casa.
He deserved himself a free burrito.
Yeah. So here's the deal. A tub of popcorn is about 1,400 calories. I could eat a tub of popcorn. There's no fucking way I could eat 1,400 calories of steak. So again, one is going to produce leptin, one is not. So again, you have to figure out what are the types of foods that you're eating that is going to trigger these hormones. Skylar talked about chocolate, things like that. One thing, especially female athletes or females in general, guys in general, but dark chocolate can help produce serotonin, which will help you sleep at night and feel good. It's not a bad thing unless you're in show prep and your coach says no or whatever. But, a couple squares of really dark chocolate at night can aid in what Ashely talked about in sleep. It can help produce more serotonin. Again, the more and more you sleep, the body's hormones are going to regulate themselves significantly better. So yes, you do not have this chip on your shoulder of, man, grinding it out, less sleep, wake up. Stan Efferding talks a lot about this. I always give credit where I steal stuff, and I stole it from Stan Efferding. But this whole thing of waking your ass up at the butt crack of dawn just to get up and grind out cardio, thinking you're doing all this shit, guys, the sleep you're missing out on is way more important than the actual physical activity that you're doing. He says you're stepping over dollar bills to pick up nickels. Go after the fucking dollar bills and stop going after nickels. So again, well, Joe, I just, I have to wake up early. Well, then go to fucking bed earlier.
Mhm.
Yeah, and that's what I was just gonna say is if you're gonna do that, if you're going to, you got to be intentional on your sleep. Like what you're saying here is, go to sleep at 8 o'clock. Then, if you're gonna get up at 4 to go into the gym and get your cardio in, that doesn't mean go to bed at 12 and get up at 4. That means
exactly.
That means be mindful on what your schedule is. I mean, get your ass to bed.
Yeah, go to bed, get your priorities there. And I want to preface this little rant that I went on. I'm not making a rant on that question. I'm not like that was just kind of FYI. But no, it's just, I just think people really need to be intentional in what they're doing, but cravings are going to be there. I mean, when I'm like really busy, I can manage cravings and things like that. But when I'm kind of just idle and I'm home and like the kids are asleep and I'm like wide awake and I'm just sitting in there, and I'm putting you guys in this position because the refrigerator literally calls my fucking name.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's literally calling my name because I have cravings. I'm hungry. It's kind of nighttime. That's what maybe, a lot of times that's why I do a lot of my cardio at night. I'm like, you know what? I'm going out for a walk. I'm like, instead of sitting there staring at the refrigerator for something that doesn't have calories and tastes phenomenal,
Well,
I'm going to go.
Say, you're not craving, you're bored.
Yeah, and that's a lot of it. I just get bored, if you guys can imagine that.
You haven't had enough sleep, you're dehydrated, or you're bored.
Yep.
Yeah, I get bored a lot.
That's 100% correct. Because I don't feel myself. So if I'm in a prep, Joe, I mean, it's been a while, but I'm just saying, when I'm in a prep and I'm going through the process, I don't ever crave. I could say I don't crave things. I don't feel like the cravings are really there unless, I mean, actually looking back, I don't think they were. I always had that goal in mind, and then that always outweighed the cravings, and I'm always like,
that's a good point.
I really want that, but do I really? Because I want this, that, but more. If your end result outweighs your short-term, what am I thinking here? Short-term, Joe, you say it all the time. No.
Well, now you're putting me on the spot. Now I don't know.
I'm trying to think your short-term satisfaction, I guess.
Yes,
like,
I mean,
that short-term satisfaction isn't worth, that cheat, I guess.
Something that makes a bunch of sense in my head right now that I can't say. I don't know. One of those things.
It's in there, I promise.
It's making sense to me.
I know what you're saying. Again, you want something way more.
Yeah.
That you would versus that little thing right now. I want that result so much more than this little thing I want right now. So my mind is going to focus on it. Wherever you put your mind at is what you're going to have. And that kind of brings me, one of our questions was on energy drinks, which as I drink my fucking energy drink right now, I'm going to say you should not be drinking these. As if you're watching this on YouTube, you can see me drinking my energy drink at 7:45, which I shouldn't be doing.
But Bucked Up, which we are also sponsored by.
Bucked Up, I sell at Joe's Gym. So here's the deal. Going back to that thing of, this is my opinion of energy drinks. That was actually one of our questions. No, by no means am I saying this is healthy. It's like, but at the same time, sometimes I just want something fucking cold in a can.
Yep.
And there's better ones. I mean, it's like filtered cigarettes are better than non-filtered, but I mean, like this, technically speaking, it doesn't have the sugar, they have their sugar. Now, again, I know there's science Nazis out there that say, yeah, but those have whatever in them that are going to act just like sugar and whatever. But no, I mean, technically there's no calories in it. Yes, there's chemicals, and God, they're glorious chemicals. But it's kind of one of those, like, at some time, your stress level, guys, if you're really wanting to lose weight and your cortisol and your stress levels are fucking skyrocketed, nothing's going to happen. So maybe that chocolate was enough to lower those cortisol levels, help get a little bit more sleep. Now, not this is going to help me get a bunch of sleep. But most people have never seen me tired. So
That's because you're on so many energy drinks.
That's all he drinks
No,
all day.
Everybody thinks I do drink them. Yes. Everybody thinks I drink a hell of a lot more. I'm just fucking hyperactive.
Yeah.
And energy drinks help a little bit with that. But Ashely, I mean, you're always posting that monster, the watermelon, which is fucking glorious.
It's delicious. Yeah, it's chemicals. I mean, it is what it is, but I used to always have this mindset that food was bad and some foods were good and with drinks and whatnot. And yeah, a monster is zeros on my macros, but
yep.
I'm also not going to drink one every single day.
No.
I think anything is fine in moderation, and whatever definition you want to put into moderation, whatever. But I maybe will have a monster once a week. Now, Diet Dr. Pepper.
More power than I do.
I got a story about Skylar coming.
I'll have a can of Diet Dr. Pepper probably a good 3 days a week.
Oh yeah, Diet Dr. Pepper, huh?
Mm-hmm. And it's zero on my macros, and it does nothing to me. It does nothing. I mean, it's what, 45 grams of caffeine, milligrams of caffeine or something.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
I'm with that. I mean, I don't think, again, it's just like you said, moderation. I mean, have there been days I've pushed the limit? We're gonna go ahead and say yes. So Skylar calls me back in 2017. We're prepping for Miami Nationals. We're like 2 weeks out. Skylar calls me, goes, "Hey, what's up?" And my response was, "Doing good. I've probably pushed the limits of human consumption on caffeine. But other than that, how are you doing?" He goes, "Good. That's why I called." He goes, "I'm not supposed to be having any caffeine right now. I've had like 6 shots of espresso." Do you remember that talk?
Dude, I remember that because
because you're like, okay, I can't have any food. I'm starving. I'm about to die, but I'm supposed to function at work too. And I'm getting some fucking caffeine.
Well, you got to understand. So at that moment, was it 3 years ago? I was getting 40,000 steps in a day. And on top of that, and these are up and down stairs. These aren't where I was working was just insane. So I'm trying to keep enough food in me while stay awake. We're getting up at 4 a.m. We worked like 12-hour days at that time. So I'm like, dude, I need something.
Yeah, you need something just to function.
Yeah, I mean, so I get it. There are some days that are rougher than others, and trust me, I drank my coffee. It did not matter. I said, if it kills me, if I die, I die.
Hey, Ashely, what was your what was another one of your listeners or followers' questions?
Real good one. How do you find the right coach for you? What do you look for? What are some things to avoid? That was
I'm gonna have you answer that first, Ashely, since it's your question. I'm gonna have you answer that.
I mean, I think it completely depends on what your goals are. I mean, who you choose as a lifestyle coach may be completely different as who you choose as a comp coach. And I'm a rookie. I mean, I haven't been in the industry for a long time. I have been blessed with an amazing coach who I gel really, really, really well with, but I also know exactly what I want. And I think that's important for people is you need to know exactly what you want from your coach. And you are hiring that person for you. So you need to let them know exactly what you need, what your goals are, what your expectations are, and that they work around your needs. Because I have heard lately that, there are a few of my friends, not on my team, who just aren't getting their needs met by their coach. So I think it's super important that you guys are on the same page for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I could go on and on and on about this for hours.
I think you just answered it. I think you just answered it. So, but this is what I will say, Ashely. I have heard you say that you're a rookie. I don't know, 7,000-8,000 times now.
I am.
I'm gonna correct you on that. You are not a fucking rookie. because most people in this bodybuilding thing, they try it once and then they never touch it ever again, and they barely live the lifestyle. So you are not a rookie, just my opinion. You're living it.
I think
my opinion.
I think we all are in a way. I think I understand what she's saying. I think
I get it.
Learning. I guess a rookie, as in she's had one coach, and that makes sense but this goes along with what I was going to talk about too, which is I'm glad you brought the finding the right coach thing. I also think it's very important to stay with a coach you're comfortable with, no matter what. I mean, throughout mine, I mean, Joe was there when I was trying to get recruited by Logan Franklin to be coached under Logan Franklin. And could I have easily said yes and just said, screw it? Well, I guess, coach, we're done. I'm going to go with this guy. It's better for my career. Well, you can't just look at it that way. I mean, think about how much your coach has put into you, how much work you guys have done together. Every coach starts somewhere. You have to understand that these coaches all started where you're at now. And like, what is it, Hani Rambaugh? I mean, he didn't always have that name to be in the best in the business. I mean, that's a lot of people say he's the best in the business, but he didn't start off with that name. He had to start at the same spot we did and develop these athletes, and I think that you deserve it to your coach to give him the chance to do the same, or her the chance to do the same. If you're doing well, why switch it? I mean, that right there does not make sense to me. If you win a show,
I agree,
or do well in a show, and you may not win your first show or your second or your third, but if you're doing well, if you're placing in the top 5 or top 3, why the hell are you switching? Your coach and you are learning your body. You're learning your body together. So you switching makes you just start all over again with someone else. So I would say, I mean, choosing a coach is very important, but staying with the coach is just as important. So, that goes together, hand to hand, I think.
Everything they just said, I totally agree with. I'm going to go with what I see that is wrong. And we have all seen this. You go back, like a lot of times, Skylar and I, we have a larger team. So a lot of times when we go to shows, we'll have 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 people doing the show. We're going to show up. A lot of it is shared for costs, things like that. So obviously knowing the cost that's going to be involved is a big deal. But I've been backstage and athletes back there, they might know us or recognize us or know we're coaches. Obviously we wear badges, and they'll start asking us questions. I don't know. Well, what does your coach say? Well, I don't know. I can't get a hold of them. They won't answer their phone, or they're back. That just, guys, that infuriates me. You've been prepping for this for however long. Answer your fucking phone the day of the show. I don't care what's going on. You need to, unless something's really crazy going on, there's a death in the family or whatever. But the thing that this is what I really just can't stand. The cookie cutter, they're backstage, they're looking at a sheet of paper and it says, take pre-workout at 10 a.m. Why is it 10 a.m.?
Yeah.
Did you know what time the show actually started? Do you know when they're going? Are they lining up yet? Start pumping up at 10:05. Why is it 10:05?
How many?
Do you even know what you look like?
How many shows are actually ran on time? Let's
none, zero, none of them. They never go on time.
Yes, let's just be real. And then which one of those clients are we talking about? Like, as in, like, it's always the one that looks awesome. It's always the one that I approach that just looks awesome. And then now I'm watching them in front of my eyes flatten out or lose shape because they are losing their minds because they have no idea what to do. And it's heartbreaking because I've been there. I couldn't. There's been shows where I'm like, I'm calling my coach, texting my coach, nothing.
You and I were backstage at Nationals. And you were like, get ready to pump up. I'm like, don't touch it. Just don't move.
Yeah.
Get on stage now. Go.
He's like, look at your arms. I'm like,
don't touch anything. Don't eat anything. Don't think. Don't breathe. Just go on stage now. Like, go.
Yeah. And that's the biggest thing is there's not a show that we've been at that we haven't spent the $150 per coach. I mean, that's $300 that we spend out of our pockets, plus we get our wives in, and that's another $80 for the day. I mean, we do this because we love it. But that's what separates a good coach and a bad coach is are they investing in you? I think that is the most crucial thing that people don't get is investment back. Okay. A lot of coaches will ask, will say, hey, this is what I cost. Well, what am I getting? Like,
Right.
what are you
I'm
giving
hiring
me?
you.
Yeah. What are you giving me back? Like, are you going to be at my show? Okay.
Yeah.
No, check. Bye. I don't want that guy there because I mean, I'm huge on, it takes away so much stress when you have someone there that actually gives a shit about you and what you're doing. You know, it didn't cater their day around their self. You know, that's a game changer in a coach, I think.
Yeah, I think that's a big one. I hope that answers it, people. I mean, that's a thing too. And again, listeners, if you got questions, shit, reach out.
Went on a rant. We kind of went on a rant there that was kind of off topic, but you know, we could like I could elaborate a little more on just the normal. I mean, I talk about competing because that's the world we're in. But if you're looking for a coach outside of competing, also, I think the same qualities that I just said apply because you know, you could easily get any type of coaching online. Anybody, what separates you from the next guy? You know, that's what you got to look at. What am I getting back? Is this online platform actually going to give me something that is going to be good for me? Or is this person in town that I train with, that I'm spending $100 an hour training with, are they sitting there talking to me and distracting me from my workout, or are they actually putting hands on me and teaching me movements? Today, I mean, here's an example. Today, I'm sitting there doing my workout with one of my clients, and a guy shows this kid how to do a pull-up, and he just does a straight pull-up. Like, doesn't bring his chest away when he gets up top, doesn't come up and actually engage his back at all. He's doing biceps with a pull-up motion. So to me, it's just, you have to find somebody that, do your research. I mean, find somebody that really knows their shit when it comes to movements, because your body is not going to change unless you're doing the shit right. And if it does change, it's not going to look the way that the people you're looking at online that you want to look like. Right. It's all angles. Angle training is everything. And if the coach doesn't know how to teach that, you're never going to get to your goal.
Yeah, I hope So I got one here, kind of a brief one here, but somebody was asking about when and why is it time for a refeed meal? So I want to kind of touch on this here real quick. So there's refeeds and there's cheats. A lot of people are like, well, I'm just going to do a cheat meal, and one, earn them. I mean, it's kind of one of those, like, I don't think they need to be every week. I mean, gosh, there's that 75 hard program that says just for 75 days, there's no cheat meals. You know, I don't think, again, unless it goes back to the stress and all that stuff, but most of y'all are just soft. I mean, it's like, oh, I need a cheat meal. No, you don't really need one. I mean, it's like, it's not going to help. It's not there, but there are times where, that's why I like calling them more of a refeed. One of the podcasts listed, the Honey Rambod one. I was listening to that, and he kind of confirmed something that I have actually done. Personally, I like sushi for refeed meals, because what'll happen is I take the approach from a coaching standpoint where I'm going to diet you really, really hard, where it's kind of like 2 steps backwards, 1 step forward, 2 step backwards, 1 step forward. I want to diet you really hard, and then we will do a correction or a refeed if we're going too hard. That's kind of my approach, in my opinion. I like when people kind of start seeing results pretty quick, they get excited for it, and then they're going to grind out that diet. So again, this is from a competitor standpoint. Well, what happens is our body is going to get depleted of certain things. You know, we start drinking a lot of water. We start taking in the plain food. That's why, again, guys, you got to keep your salt intake up and things like that, but I'm not going to get into all that. But what'll happen is someone says, go get a burger and fry and things like that. And I think, anytime you do that, like Skylar and I would test that with my last show. It was like, I was like ready 4 weeks out. I like coming in early and then testing how I'm going to work with food to make it what I'm going to look like on stage. There was that picture we posted at me up at Aspen, up on Merle Hay, where it was just like, I was grainy, veins everywhere. It was fucking disgusting.
It works in the competitor side of it, I
Yes,
think.
yes. So I'm talking strictly from a competitor because a competitor asked this. So a competitor sent this to me. Well, the problem with fried food is it's going to fuck your digestion system up. You might Friday night, you might go have a burger and fries. You're going to go to the gym Saturday and look fucking phenomenal because now maybe you've gotten a little bit extra sodium, some minerals, some extra carbs that you maybe been a little bit low on. So your body's going to siphon through a lot of what is in that food that you might be depleted of. But the problem is that fried food, again, is going to screw you up. It's going to basically wreck your digestion for the next 3 days. So whatever you do eat for the next 3 days, and I'm just throwing 3, that's probably the case, but your absorption, your gut health, the way your gut responds, especially in prep, is so freaking crucial. You have to manage your gut or you are screwed. Your digestion is so crucial. That's why I tend to like sushi because it's not fried. It's a very clean carb. You obviously have some very clean proteins in it, but you can get, again, those minerals back in, some sodium and things like that. And that's something Hani Rambod talked about. And it was kind of one of those, like, it was something I did, and then he kind of confirmed it. And so it was kind of like, hey, Hani Rambod does that. I guess I like that as well. Now, somebody doesn't like sushi, I would say fine. Maybe you just get a little bit more of a sweet potato. You don't have to go out and have these dirty ass foods.
A 50 to 75% bump in your carb intake is what I do a lot of the time. I find it very beneficial. We've tried both. I tried both with Connor and actually Colton. We tried both just recently.
Yeah.
And I found it their body looked better the next day when we did a 50 to 75% push with your carbs. Which, if we're doing 120, I mean, I'm really probably trying to get 300 out of them for that day. I want to see how much carbs can I push in this guy's through his system, and how much is it going to take for them to really fill back out.
Fill out.
Yep, because we're looking at 2 more weeks, and we're going to start doing some critiques to see what works, and that's kind of where Joe, I'm sure that's where everybody is. 3 weeks out to 4 weeks out, you want to start testing the water, and that's kind of what Joe was talking about with him when we did that with him.
And Ashely, you're like a robot. I doubt you even do refeed meals.
No, I don't do. I mean,
and I'll preface this. I'm sorry. I'll preface this. Like, again, we're talking bodybuilding, men's physique, class physique compared to bikini. It's not like you're looking for these ripped, shredded ass, glutes and striated muscles. And, it's like, so it is different.
Yeah, it's different. I mean, there would be more carb increases, obviously, if you were starting to look that way. But yeah, I mean, I'm just not prescribed refeeds or cheat meals, as people call them. I mean, obviously, I have a lot of room to work with my macros. I mean, yeah, my coach doesn't say go out and have a burger and fries, but if I want to and I fit it into my macros, she will say nothing as long as it's not affecting my biofeedback. So, I mean, I don't feel guilty if I do go have sushi or a drink or something like that, as long as I fit it in my macros, but it's not something that I'm told to go do. And obviously, I mean, I'm new to this. I'm still building and working on things. Maybe down the road when my metabolism and hormones are better regulated, that could be an option, but it's just not right now.
I think that's I think we covered that. Ashely, I know you had something about chasing the pump or something.
Yeah, I had a really good one about what supplements do you really need. And then, and then someone had asked, chasing the pump, is it good? Is it bad? Does it matter?
Okay. So when somebody talks about supplements, I own a gym. We sell supplements here. The number one seller is pre-workouts. I need a fucking pre-workout. Hey, I love a good pre-workout, guys. I love good pre-workouts. Now, you've really got 3 different types of pre-workouts. You've got very high caffeinated pre-workouts. And then you've got on the other spectrum, some of your non-stimulant, more pump products. And then you have ones that are kind of halfway in between. They have some stimulant, then they have some pump products. So things like citrulline, is going to increase blood flow, blah, 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 blah. But I'm going to get away from pre-workouts. I don't want to talk about them. They're a dime a dozen in my opinion.
I'll just say it because I'm addicted to my pre-workouts, but
Yeah.
you don't really need a pre-workout. You
Yeah,
can use food or other avenues. You don't need it. We want it.
Food.
We love it.
Yes. It is a
That was
luxury.
a question.
I just had a topic with somebody or a question earlier. Someone's like, how come some days my pump is so big? I'm like, well, probably check what you ate that day, dude. It wasn't this, again, I love a good pre-workout. I really do. But if I would say, if you really had to prioritize things, again, I'm going to look at my gut first. If I'm not you are what you eat. That's not true. You are what you are able to absorb of what you eat. So if you're not absorbing it, if your gut's all fucked up, again, make sure that your gut health is in check. Get your probiotics, things like that. Make sure you're eating really clean foods. I like a good multivitamin. Again, your vitamin D. I mean, all my supplements are very, very boring for the most part. And then I'll get into the pre-workouts and amino acids and proteins and things like that.
I actually don't even do a pre-workout. If I do one, it's that Titan pump.
Yep.
But it's just for that. I mean, I do like having that's what fuels me is seeing the pump in the mirror. It's not the 400 grams of do you remember that, what was it, Rhino back, the complete nutrition sold? 450 grams of caffeine in one.
Psychotic from Insane Labs.
Oh, it's like, my God.
I tried it, and when I tried it, I was at work. It was the worst thing ever. I had I had like cold sweats. I'm like, what the hell is this? No. I mean, I wouldn't even try. I wouldn't even start a pre-workout if you haven't, because I'd rather you do an intro carb or something like that that's going to fuel the muscle during a workout.
It's at the point, and I've seen people in the gym where they'll come to my gym and they're like, I can just tell like their workout's just off. I'm like, hey, what's up, man? Like, you just don't seem. He goes, forgot my pre-workout. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, you really can't, like, you can't muster up the fucking gump and just go because you forgot your fucking pre-workout. That's
the headphones
mindset. Absolute placebo.
Fuck, I forgot my headphones today. I gotta go.
Yeah. I mean, that's, if you forget your pants, you probably shouldn't, that's okay to skip your workout if you forget your pants.
Yeah.
But not your pre-workout. Bring your pants. If you forget your pre-workout, you're fine.
If I was at your gym, I'd still work out without my pants on.
Yeah. No one here, pretty much topless. And yeah, we have an interesting gym.
Sounds like it.
Sounds like it.
Everybody drives by. No one ever wears shirts. And I don't know. Whatever.
What are you going to do?
What are you going to do? But no, I do. I mean, supplements. Yeah, I think, I do like creatine. I like adding glutamine. I like having one thing, guys, if you are lifting, gals, if you're lifting, one thing you're creating is inflammation. If you are not taking omega-3s, fish oils, things like that, you're an idiot.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just say that.
I guess I'm
especially when you're old, because no, I mean, I'm telling you, if you're not, well, then Ashely, you better be taking them.
She's like, I just won't.
I just won't.
No, I mean, and then, like you said at the beginning, it's like, it's, personal preference.
It's anecdotal.
Opinion.
It's
like,
anecdotal.
I don't believe in multivitamins. I don't need one because I eat so clean. I get that from my food.
Yeah.
I think obviously if you have a deficiency, most definitely you need to go down the supplement route that way. But
that's a very good point. That's a very good point. Say that again.
If you have a deficiency in something, you most definitely need to go down that route of taking a supplement. But I mean,
how would somebody know if they have a deficiency?
Well, you should be getting annual lab work.
Absolutely,
for sure. But if you can work it out with your medical provider to do it every 6 months, I'd say go for it.
That's a good point. I'm very glad you said that, because people will say, what should I take? I don't know. What are you deficient in? Well, I don't know. Then we're at a stalemate.
That goes back to Ashley's question about the coaches. or not necessarily your question, but someone's question about the coaches. I think, and this is this is me personally, don't kill me for saying it, but I honestly think that if your coach, at least within that, I mean, mine's always the first time I meet somebody. If I'm talking to them and they say, okay, let's do it. Okay, what do I say after that? I need you to go get some lab work done. I need to see where your levels are, because if I don't know where they're at, I don't need you coming to me in 12 weeks and telling me that I screwed your thyroid up. Because I mean, that's something you got to watch your own ass as a coach too.
Yep.
It's not just for you. It's not just for them. It's for you. You need to have that peace of mind. And then if you're struggling with somebody from the beginning and they're like, man, I'm sticking to the diet, nothing's fucking changing, I don't know what's going on, why is it not changing? I said, and then you're like, dude, you're on 1,400 calories, you should be losing weight. And all of a sudden now you find out months later that they have a thyroid issue, and nothing's gonna fucking work if you don't get that thing under control. So I mean, that's just something that I was thinking, because that really did hit back with what she was talking about.
I'm gonna go back to fish oils because I don't want to sound too harsh.
I'm not gonna take a fish oil.
No. I'm gonna back up. I don't want to sound too harsh to some of the listeners, but I'm coming from the elders' standpoint here.
Joe, you're like 3 years older than me.
But that's an elder. That's an elder. When Skylar and I was doing, jeez. When Skylar and I were when we were prepping, you meant what I knew. When Skylar and I were prepping for nationals, I could barely do a dumbbell curl because I had such bad tendonitis in my elbow. I mean, I'm not kidding. My left elbow, I could barely do a dumbbell curl. It hurt so fucking bad. And then, so I pushed through. I mean, I was prepping for nationals, literally doing cryo, doing all this stuff all the time just to be able to get through my workouts. And afterwards, I was 38. I upped my fish oils and it literally went away.
Was that a mental thing or
placebo?
No, God, that was, I could barely hold my son. It hurt so bad.
But you were in prep, though. You were
probably lacking. You were dry from prep.
And I'll even say this: I've got about 10 to 15 clients who've said the same thing. They tell me right where it's at. I say up your fish oils, and literally within a month it goes away. Huh. And and again, they're usually older, so I just, it's just one of those. It's a preventative thing. But I personally waited too long. I didn't take them, and I waited until the symptom was there, and then and then that's what made it go away.
So question for you, Joe. So let's say, okay, a lot of these pills that we take for liver, kidney, gut health, stuff like that. Well, is it healthier to take those pills and have your system have to break that down through your kidneys and your liver? And or should you not take those pills? Is where my question is, and I'm sure a lot of people think that same thing.
So again, in my opinion, a supplement is there to do what you cannot do on your own. So where are some really good sources of omega-3 fatty acids? Salmon. Mm-hmm. Things like that. Your brain is roughly 60 to 70% fat. Of that fat, 50%, right? This isn't one of those 60% of the time works all the time, right? Your brain. there you go. Panther piss or whatever. movies. But no, 50% of all the fat in your brain is DHA fat. So for the most part, I'm not going to get into the blood-brain barrier and all that type of stuff. But again, most fatty acids cannot cross the blood-brain barrier. So if we're not getting our omega-3s, so again, if you're eating, let's say, a high salmon diet and things like that, you don't need to take this. You're getting them from your food. I don't eat I actually really like salmon, but especially in prep, I'm not eating salmon just because the fat content and the calories and things like that. But if you're getting it from your food, so let's say we're talking about, like liver support, like your milk thistle and your NAC and, things like that. There's not a whole lot of food that has stuff in there like that. So I think somebody could supplement on that stuff. So, things like, iodine, spinach. God, I couldn't think of the stupid green leaf. Spinach. Iodine, things like glutathione. Again, there are foods that are very high on this stuff. So again, that's going to regulate your thyroid. Again, Ashley's talking about eating very clean. You're probably getting a very good amount of iodine and glutathione in your diet. So it kind of comes down to it and says, well, what is it that I'm deficient in? Well, you have to go figure it out. They'll go spend $1,500 on an iPhone, but they won't go fucking run blood work and see how their body's running.
Well, and I think that was the question, like, what do you really need? So
yeah,
I guess, it's going to be, specific to each person. But, I don't know, if you guys had to narrow it down to 2 supplements, I mean, what would you narrow it down to? Not that you want, because my pre-workout would be boom at the top. What do I need?
EAAs. These are just my thoughts, Joe. Yours is going to be completely different. Probiotic and EAAs.
Probiotic. I'm gonna put a probiotic high on my list, and I don't think they need to be taken every day. Actually, I think a probiotic, if you feed your body right, you're gonna build up, your gut flora.
The only reason I say that is because I don't think everybody needs to go out and spend a bunch of money on protein powder. I think
I agree with that. You can get it from your food.
Get everything you need from food.
Unless you live on the equator, you're going to be deficient in D3, and D3 is actually a hormone. It's actually not even a vitamin.
Did you name more than 2, Joe?
No, probiotic and D3.
Oh, those are your 2?
Those would be my gut, or some form of something that has then you're going to have more than, never mind.
He tried.
You can't say 2. Gosh, I overthink everything.
No, I would definitely say an EAA for sure.
Spend your money on recovery. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then creatine. I mean, it's the most widely researched and beneficial supplement. Why not?
Now, what if you eat a lot of beef?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Well, I don't. So
again, that's why.
We're talking about supplemental. So then you would need.
That is where the answer to all these questions is it depends. But I will say this: everybody's talking about EAAs, guys. Your results are predicated to your ability to recover from the activity that you're doing. If you get the greatest fucking pre-workout in the history of mankind, let's call it ABC pre-workout, and it is scientifically proven in a court of law to be the best pre-workout ever. Like, this is ordained by God, pre-workout. But if you're not recovering from that workout, nothing happened. You got the greatest workout ever, but your nutrition sucks, your sleep sucks, your recovery sucks. Nothing will happen. It's the 23 hours that you are not in the gym that is going to get you the results. So spend your money on the other 23 hours, unless you're shopping at Joe's Gym, buy a good pre-workout.
Then I got a list of 12 things you need to have.
And then if you act now, we'll get you a discount. No.
Use my
but I mean,
for $1,400.
Use my code. Do you guys agree with that though? If you're not recovering from your activity, nothing's going to happen.
I mean, honestly, I don't think anyone really needs any supplements. If you have, your sleep in check, your hydration in check, you're eating whole foods consistently, you're training hard, and you're recovering. I mean, honestly, you don't really need those things unless you're deficient. I mean, you can do a lot with food.
Yeah,
you can spend your money in a better place is what you can do.
I agree.
Hiring a coach, buying an app online from Joe and Skylar, and it'll teach you everything you need to know
Teach
about
you
all this.
everything. And things you don't even think you need to know.
Yeah.
Like fish oil.
Like
It's
fish
all
oil.
in it. It's all in it.
It's all in there.
Yeah.
So I want to talk about some food. One person did ask a question like, what is daily prep? Or not daily prep, but food prep. I don't prep food daily. I tend to do it 1 to 2 times a week. So this is the thing what I do with food prep. I want things as simple as humanly possible. I do the cooking at my house. I want it as simple as possible. I have every as seen on TV gadget known to mankind. I mean, I am like
hot dog toaster.
okay, maybe I need to add that to it. I'm like a marketer's dream. Put a monkey in fresh, bright colors, and I'm like, I gotta have it. But I mean, I look at convenience. Time is the most precious commodity on the planet. And what I find is you have people that have no kids, no job, no life, no spouse. I just can't find any time to do anything. I'm like, whatever. Here's my schedule for 5 minutes, and they just wouldn't know what to do. So again, Ashely's got kids. Skylar's got twins. I've got kids. We have lives, we have careers, but yet we still get all this done. And I think it really comes down to just being very diligent to having a plan. That whole adage of, people who fail to plan to fail, right? It's just, that's that whole adage, but it's so freaking true. So what I do is I like single ingredient foods, meaning, I used to make this turkey hamburger, chili recipe, but then I'm like, well, what's in it? I'm like, I don't know. I put a bunch of shit in it. I couldn't tell you what the macros were in it because it's one big giant recipe. And it's like, if I put a cup of it in or 2 cups, I don't know what's in it because it's multiple ingredient foods. So here's what I mean by ingredient foods, guys. I went and looked at chicken nuggets at our local grocery store, and it had 23 fucking ingredients in it. 1 ingredient was chicken. But if I go have steak, broccoli, and asparagus, that's 3 ingredients, so cook single ingredient foods. Maybe you have a big giant George Foreman grill for when it's cold out or raining, or you have your grill outside, or you have a slow cooker, a pressure cooker. Now everybody, likes air fryers and things like that. So whatever, I like to prep typically I'll do 2 different meats. And then I will take 2 different carb sources, sweet potatoes or rice. And then I'll cook some veggies, and then I can portion it out. I know exactly what is in every single meal. I still weigh it, even though I can look at it and say, that's 5 ounces. That's 6 ounces. I mean, I can look at it pretty much, except for now this beating your boobs or shredding your boobs or whatever the heck. Now that looks like 10 ounces and it's actually 4.
I wasn't lying when I
You are not lying. And
said.
that has literally changed my life. It's like the texture of it is better, which I'll let you kind of cover that. But I mean, I'm just saying I keep it so simple, and I prep out how many meals am I going to eat per day. I make my breakfast typically fresh. And then the rest of my meals, I pretty much prep because I don't know. Ashely, do you guys have Casey's gas station in central Nebraska?
Absolutely.
Okay, because Casey's is an Iowa thing. I get it, but they are expanding all over the place. Now, here's the deal. When I do not have my food on me, I get hungry. And here's the funny thing about hunger. Hunger wins. My truck magically goes to Casey's and gets pizza every time I get hungry.
Well,
and if that happens, I fail.
Yeah. Well,
so I have to have my food on me at all times.
Here's something that I always get. I guess I always get asked this about the food prep thing. So, well, I can't eat leftovers, or I don't like eating. I don't like eating chicken that's not hot. I said I get these things all the time with people that are trying to start up with me and stuff, and I just find those to be really dull and stupid excuses. I don't see that is definitely not that's not a real thing. You're full of shit, because here's the deal. I have ate freaking, I mean,
Cold.
like a brick of rice.
I just did today.
And I mean that. It's like a cookie of rice.
Yep.
So if you can literally tell me that you won't eat leftovers, I'm sorry, but I just won't eat leftovers. Well, it's because you don't want it bad enough. If you look
well, then you won't hit your goals. I mean, unless you're going to eat this fresh and you got a chef. Yeah, I would much rather have this food cooked and cooked for me at a restaurant every day. I would much rather have that, but I'm still not going to let that stand in front of my goals. I'm not going to eat food I don't like, but yeah, reheating it does get old, but also being average and ordinary gets fucking old too.
The day that you realize and put it in your brain that sorry, my kid's going in. but if you instill this in your brain and say, hey, this isn't food. This is fuel to the truck that's going to get me to my goal. This is no longer food, Skylar. That's literally what I used to tell myself. This isn't fuel. This isn't food. This is fuel. This isn't food. This is fuel. I mean, because there would be times where I'm like, fuck, I want that. Like you said, Casey's Pizza. Everybody loves Casey's Pizza.
Oh, I mean, my God, it's awesome.
But I mean, if you tell yourself that, hey, this is the goal. This, again, back to that. This is the end goal is more important than the goddamn. I don't want to eat this because it's a leftover. It's a shitty excuse.
Get a better goal. Get a better goal that means something.
Exactly. It's just in most prep food. I mean, it's not that bad. You can warm the shit up, but like I said, I don't make those excuses, and I've eaten bricks of freaking rice that have been sitting in a damn Tupperware all day that you shouldn't eat. Like,
how do you prep? How does prep look for you, Ashely?
I prep protein once to twice a week. I mean, I sent you guys a picture before we got on of me shredding my chicken. And like Joe mentioned, I shred my chicken, cook it in an Instant Pot, drain it out, and shred it with a hand mixer. And the reason that I do that is just convenience, and it looks like you have a larger volume of chicken if you would cube it. So that's the reason. Instant Pot. So that's where that got started. That's where the
now I have to know, is that this is the moment of truth.
Mm-hmm.
Did you steal that from somebody, or is that original?
No, I wouldn't say it's original. I mean, but I don't know where I got it from. Like, it's been years. Then
it's original. You created it. It's official.
Well, I don't know. I don't want to take full credit for it, but yeah, I mean, it's the best ever. But no, I prep 2 proteins. Yeah, I'm huge on frozen vegetables. I know fresh is best. You lose some of the nutrients, but you're not losing enough of the nutrients that you're going to
Studies have shown that when they fresh or flash freeze things, it actually holds nutrients in better.
You lose a little bit. I mean, it's not like fresh, but I'm a big, huge steamable bag vegetable person.
Yeah.
Microwave rice. I mean, I keep it as simple as possible, and I eat literally the same things every day. And
you do microwave too on rice?
Yeah.
I do too. I mean,
I have a 4-cup rice cooker. Yeah.
I can't wait that fucking long. I don't have enough time to make rice.
You put 9-0, boom, you're done.
Yeah.
I mean, I just think when people think of meal prep, they overwhelm themselves before they've even given it a try.
Yeah.
I mean, I just helped somebody out with that, and they're just like, oh, that wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. Well, no, it's not, because you're overwhelming yourself before you sit down and do the task. Just get your shit planned out, cook what you can ahead of time, and it literally saves you so much time. I just think people overcomplicate it and overwhelm themselves before they even try. And then once they do, they understand that it is literally a game changer to prep.
Guys, the alternative to meal prepping, this is the alternative. I have seen people at Casey's, because I'll go in, I'll reheat my food there, eat it in my truck. I'll see people spend $12-15 at Casey's on lunch. One, guys, you're spending way more money. Or let's say you work downtown, or you work somewhere at a job or something like that. I used to be in financial planning. I would go to like Palmer's Deli and I would sit in line for 45 fucking minutes, wait in traffic, get all pissed off. Some guy'd cut me. I mean, it was just like, it would ruin my day just going to lunch because it was such a hassle to do. How much more productive can you be if you just have your food on you? You don't have to worry about it. It's an afterthought. It's done. And you'll save money on it, guys. I'm just telling you, it's so much cheaper to do. Meal prep, get over it. Put your big boy and big gal pants on and just start meal prepping and make it simple. You don't need these glorious Pinterest meals, you know, all these recipes and things like that. Cook single ingredient foods, cook the things that you like, add some seasonings to it. I mean, there's nothing wrong with seasonings. Find the ones that you like, add it to it and make it simple.
And I'm okay with the companies, but companies are great for people starting out. I think there is a place for it. It's okay for people to get the meal prep companies, and really $150, which is what I usually see, $150 for 3 meals and a bar and something else is what you see at all these companies. I agree. Okay. Yes. If I'm starting with somebody that's just a normal person, wants to lose some weight, let's get them on that. It'll help them out. But if you are an athlete or a competitor and you're trying to do a show and you're counting, and it all has to be perfect, how in the hell are you going to? Sorry, Colton. How in the how in the hell are you going to know what is exactly in your meal?
Yep,
There's been times where I've bought meals from somewhere, and I weigh my meals, weigh my food, weigh my stuff, and it's 3 ounces off, 4 ounces off. I mean, and if I was just to eat that and just keep going, I'm losing muscle at some point because I'm not getting enough or I'm getting too much. So, like Joe said, single ingredient. You don't know if that's what that is. I mean, you're not sure. The unsureness is so much, it fucks with your head so much that it's just going to fuck your prep up anyway. You might as well do your own prep. That's my thing when it comes to athletes. Don't be lazy. Prep your fucking meals. It's for you. It's better for your brain and it's better for your body.
Yeah, just do it. I mean, it's really not, you know. And here's the thing, guys. If this is still unclear, guys, message any one of us. I'll literally walk you through exactly what I do step by step and how to basically calculate it out. I do want to start kind of wrapping things up. I got a question, actually. This is speaking of food and things like that. What is the most that you guys have had? What's the most like in prep? You want this food, the show's over or whatever it is. Like, what's the most disappointing food scenario you've ever had? Like disappointing, where you were like, you thought it was going to be awesome and it just wasn't.
All of it.
Elaborate.
Oh, well, after my last show, we went to this, it was in Florida and, you know, during COVID. So a lot of things were closed. We went to this dive bar, and, you know, it probably wasn't even that great, you know, because we haven't had that kind of food forever, but it was amazing. Like their appetizers were just like the supreme bar food, but everything after that was just, it's not worth it. I mean, yeah.
Skylar?
Well, so in Chicago, I'm going to tell you the story because it's pretty bad. So in Chicago, my whole family shows up to this national show. It was Junior Nationals, and let's just say that was the only show I didn't do as well as I pictured I was going to do. So I was pissed off already. So getting out of that show, we're driving around trying to find somewhere to eat. We're foreign, we don't know what's around, you know. We picked this Mexican restaurant that we just saw because I'm like, you know what? I don't want to wait. I want to eat some fucking chips, you know, and some cheese. That was me at the time. It took them 35 minutes to get us, or 35, 40 minutes to bring me water.
Which seemed like 2 hours.
And I had ordered a margarita because I'm fucking like, fuck it. I want some food. You know? So I ordered a margarita. We didn't get our margaritas until like 25 minutes went by.
Wow.
Our chips didn't even hit the table till 30. And then on top of that, I got food poisoning from the chicken. And we get back to the hotel. Me and my little brother are puking off of a 12-story building.
Couldn't even go to the toilet.
I mean, it was horrible. It was the worst experience of my life.
Oh,
Did
that's
it taste
bad.
good though?
Not coming up.
Not coming up.
The mixture, yeah, it was a great. It tasted awesome. The place was
That
great.
E. coli tasted so
Man,
good.
That's right.
That chicken really hit the spot.
So when I got, you guys are probably going to cry after this one for me. It's so bad. I got back from nationals in Miami and, see, my dad picked me up from the airport. We went home and I'm like, again, all I wanted was a Casey's taco pizza. That's all I fucking wanted. I'm like, I'm going to like put the music on. I'm going to have some candlelight. Fucking, this is going to go down, you know? And I'm like, and I literally live like a few blocks from it, you know? And I'm like, okay, I'm going to, I call, I order it. I'm like, the person on the other like end of the phone, I'm like, you're my favorite person right now. Like, I am so ready for this freaking taco pizza. I go pick it up. I mean, you know that smell, it's in my truck. And I'm just like, oh, this is going to be so fucking good.
You trip and drop it.
No. It's way worse. It's way worse.
It's worse.
So I get it home. It's on my kitchen table. And I'm just like, oh, this is
it.
So I open the top lid to this pizza. And anybody listening that knows Casey's Taco Pizza, well, they put Doritos on top of the entire pizza. Well, these fuckers forgot the Doritos. And I just sat there like I just found out Santa Claus was fucking fake.
Don't say it. You ruined it for everybody.
I'm just like, well, maybe I'm just bad and Santa doesn't come anymore. Maybe that's it. And I'm looking at this like, I mean, it was like my soul just got ripped out of my body because I'm like, I've been waiting for this for like 6 months. I'm like, of all the fucking pizzas you could have made, you had to fuck mine up. And I'm just sitting there. I'm like, maybe they changed the recipe. I literally called them. I'm like, did you guys like change the recipe? They go, did we forget the chips? I'm like, you forgot the chips. And they're like, well, we can give you credit. And I'm like, you don't get it. Like, I'm probably not going to have another one of these things for a while. And I'm just like, but I was like, I'm not going back. I'm like, I'm just going to eat it. And I'm just going to fucking just sulk a little bit. And then I got one a week later, but I would have been popping a bag of Doritos.
That's what I was thinking. Just go get a bag of Doritos and do it yourself.
It was like, I just got off the plane. I was like traveling. I'm like, I just want to sit. I'm finally at home. It was like, you know, I'm just like, I don't want to go out again. Yeah. So yeah, it was, that was, I know there's probably people listening right now crying. I get it. I'm sorry to ruin it for you guys.
I think you're being just a bit over dramatic.
I've never been over dramatic. Ever.
Yeah. That's freaking funny.
What else you guys got? What's something silly or what what's the weirdest thing you've ever eaten, Skylar?
Oh boy. I don't even know. I'm kind of a picky eater, so I don't really get too crazy, I guess.
Hey, you know, like calamari, you know, when it's like breaded squid, like I tried it once when it like wasn't breaded and they still had like little, it was disgusting. That was probably the weirdest thing I've ever eaten.
I couldn't do it. I'm not a seafood person. It
was bad.
I don't remember. I think shrimp, and that's not even, I mean, for me, that's a lot.
I ate a lot of shrimp.
He's like, you don't eat shrimp?
I ate a lot of shrimp.
I don't eat a whole lot of seafood at all, really. I just and it's hard for me to eat tilapia even, which is not a good thing for me because I have to eat it like 8 weeks of my prep.
See, I'd rather do like orange roughy. Tilapia freaks me out.
Just cover it with mustard.
Mustard isn't good for show prep.
Is that bad? I don't even like mustard.
Oh my gosh, how do you survive?
You know what? I am like the most bland eater you'll ever. I mean, all my preps were chicken, rice, sweet potato, and
didn't you put fucking cinnamon on your chicken?
Yeah, that's crazy. I guess that's different. I
Yeah.
put cinnamon. So I was going through that prep in Miami, and man, I don't know why, but I had to put cinnamon on everything, and I used it, and I'm thinking to myself, you know what? You know how I'll justify this is it works as a thermogenic. So I was like, I'll put a little bit of this on there, a little bit of
Oh, this fat I'm gonna lose.
Yeah, I mean, shit, it worked, obviously.
It worked.
But yeah, cinnamon chicken. Get a
Yeah.
lot of weird looks at that one.
Yeah.
It's good though. You should try it.
Yeah. Next week.
Oh shoot. Let's see.
Were there any questions that you guys had from? I know there's a lot more, and we probably just need to do this probably once a month where we just have questions because there's a lot that we didn't cover. But did you guys have any other ones that you guys would like to cover from what was brought up?
No, people asked me several times how we know each other, which I don't think we ever went over that.
Well, Skylar and I, we go a little ways back. We're obviously from the same area. Skylar, you are muted, by the way. There we go. Well, Ashely, we met you at the November show in Des Moines. Started following each other, followed the teams. One, I was really intrigued by your guys' structure because obviously Skylar and I are coaches. I think that really came up. But then Skylar and I really wanted to relaunch our podcast because we did it like just before COVID. And then all of a sudden COVID happened and kind of like we all just got scatterbrained and we just kind of dropped off on the podcast. And one thing that Skylar and I were talking about was having pretty much a voice of reasoning for our freaking ADD brains that we have fucking bouncing around all over the place. But no, I mean, it's a good thing.
Joe, that's not Skylar.
Oh, trust me, if you get me and him in the same room, you'd see it. It's like two people talking over each other the whole time. I mean,
yes. And I'm sure we're doing it right now. Yeah, but I can go louder. I got a microphone. And I can mute you guys. I can pull rank and mute.
Yeah.
But no, it was kind of one of those things like, we really had an idea of the podcast. So I said, you know what? I really want somebody that is not from the area, meaning Iowa, the big area of Iowa, that is in the industry that, can really kind of take excuses away from people. So we put something up on our Instagram page that we wanted to bring on just a guest. And we had the idea of, I want to find a co-host, and that's not what I put up. I wanted to find a guest, and we kind of put it out there. Ashely reached out, and actually of all episodes that we have had, it has pretty much had half. I mean, we're almost at 1,000 downloads. And it's that episode actually has had about half of all the actual downloads, and it went well. And I think it really just opened up a lot of doors for all of us. And that's kind of, I guess, how that would say. But Ashely, why did you kind of reach out, or what did you think that might bring from your end?
Yeah, I mean, their question was just like, how did we connect? And yeah, it was at that show in November that you guys had a booth, just a couple booths down from the Fit Body Fusion, and we just chatted for a while, and started following each other on good old Instagram, and here we are.
Social media at work.
Yeah.
I do actually. I got show the argument side of me here. Who's the best superhero?
Who's
like
the
who
best?
would win? Who would totally win? Like of all superheroes, if they just all got in a fight.
Thor, 100%.
Oh, totally wrong.
No, Thor's definitely going to win. He's a god.
Ashely.
I don't even know.
I had a feeling you'd say that.
Yeah,
Are you doing research?
What's that?
It looks like she's looking at a computer.
She's like, let me Google it. Dude, Superman would fucking kill them all.
No, I am going to Google it and just see what it says.
Superman would kill them all. He has every power that they all have and none of their weaknesses.
No. Does he have a hammer?
He doesn't need a hammer.
Could he lift the hammer? No, he's a pussy.
Dude, he flew around
They have Batman as number 1.
See, there's
Dude,
no
he
fucking.
doesn't even have powers. He's just smart.
No, it was a tough decision.
Is that
But
DC?
yeah.
That's DC. That doesn't even count.
Superman would kill them all.
No, Superman's on like another list.
Yeah, but Superman has all the powers of literally all of them combined and none of their
Is
weaknesses.
Thor even on a list?
No, and there's a Captain America and then Batman and then Superman, but I
Yeah,
have not
see,
seen a Thor
but
yet.
he has
Oh, wait. Can
Wait.
Thor kill Superman? You ready?
Boom!
Yes. The Norse god of thunder would definitely take the physical approach with the man of steel. Where the
his
two
Drop the
skin,
mic. Drop the mic.
his skin can't be penetrated.
It is if you got Thor's powers. He's got a lightning, dude. Come on.
He's got
Let's get
lightning.
rid of it.
But
Let's
it
get
says
rid of it.
Thor rarely uses magic. I know nothing about these things.
Yeah, I mean,
That's all right. Keep reading. Keep reading.
keep reading. Oh man.
Moms are the superheroes, okay?
That is
Patty is pretty badass. I'm not gonna lie.
moms are definitely superheroes.
Yeah. Yup.
Superman would still
Me-
kick your ass though.
Yeah. We just read about it. You know who's the winner.
You just read about it. Oh gosh.
I was
Anything
just
else?
listening to an audio.
Yeah. Anything else you guys got?
Oh, nothing
No.
right now because
That was good.
We've got on this not
Yeah.
so serious topic. So we want to.
Yeah.
That's probably it.
I agree. Well, hey, anybody listening again on all these topics again, there were a lot of them that we did not get to. We will definitely do this more. And like I said, if there are questions, guys, just reach out to any one of us. I'm telling you, I mean, we're all pretty good. I know I get back to people pretty quickly. But then obviously we want to have a lot more topics, but just know, again, everything is not a definitive answer. Again, a lot of this does come down to it depends. That's why a lot of us had different answers because we are all different. But if you guys are really dead serious about getting results, changing your lives and things like that, again, it all comes down to you have to have the right direction. And these are the questions that I think a lot of people don't let questions and don't let these topics get in your way. Use them as just a stepping stone to get to you like further and further to your goals, but make sure that you do get these questions answered. So we're going to get this posted up, especially on YouTube. We're going to have this out a little bit longer, and you guys are great and appreciate both of you guys. And we will talk to you guys soon.
See ya.